How's it going, everybody? The Trout91 here for some Modern Warfare 2 PC. But I'm not going to be talking about the gameplay because the gameplay is not that important at all. It's just your regular old derail, not very fun times running around shooting people and all that kind of jazz. But I kind of just wanted to talk about Modern Warfare 3 today because there is so much that needs to be said about it, and we need to make sure that this game does not head in a negative direction. I mean, as lovely as Modern Warfare 2 was, there was a lot wrong with it, and I feel like Infinity Wards they could be having a bit of a struggle when it comes to making Modern Warfare 3 in terms of what it is that we want and what it is that we think would make the game as a whole good. I mean, as gamers, we love having new games, we love playing new things, but at the same time, we want a game that we can just play and play and play for hours upon ends and never really get tired of. And COD 4 was one of those games that we could just play over and over again and never really get bored of it. Now, this is kind of my plea, my message to FourZeroTwo. Whether he listens or not, I don't know. It's up to him and hopefully the help of all of you watching to get him to stop for a second and listen. And FourZeroTwo, if you're watching this, I'll ignore the fact that you blocked me on Twitter for trying to help you improve your game. We'll put that beside us, you know. I'm a cool dude, you're a cool dude, and we're both here with a mutual interest in what's best for this amazing franchise. So what I want to say is, for Modern Warfare 3, I think in terms of the guns, we need a lot of variety. Modern Warfare 2 was really special because pretty much every gun was usable, every gun had its strengths and weaknesses, and there was no kind of one gun that you want to use over another one. They all were good enough to use without much quibble or query, and they could all be used and utilized to their maximum potential, and were all very similar. And I think that was because they were so big and bulky, had similar fire rates, good iron sights. They were generally just very good guns to use. And I think that's what you need to kind of bring forward into Modern Warfare 3. Guns with variety that have different purposes and are all equally usable. Whether you want to make them severely different, I don't know. That's down to what the developers feel. Personally, I think we need variation, but at the same time, they need to be all equally good enough to be able to use them. And I think that's what's so special about Modern Warfare 2 is that even in competitive matches, you'll find big variety in the terms of weapons, whereas some games you'll find only the few guns used. In terms of explosives, I think we all know that Modern Warfare 2 was a big game in terms of explosives, and it annoyed a lot of people, and it was kind of a, well, they're so good, why do I need to use anything else? I think it is a first-person shooter, and we should kind of stick by that. I don't say get rid of the explosives altogether, because they do play a role, but at the same time, I think the emphasis on using them needs to be lowered. I think they need to play less part of the game, and the way to do that is to put some sort of crutch into using them, like in COD 4, take away one of the perks when you're using a grenade launcher. You need to nerf the damage that they do. I mean, you saw in Black Ops, they're practically not even really worth using because they don't give you much advantage over using something like a regular gun. I will also say no resupplying your explosives. You need to stop the game from resupplying so many explosives like grenades and grenade launchers and all that kind of thing. So you need to take out perks like one-man army, limit scavenger, like so it doesn't resupply those grenade launchers and RPGs, and we have an excessive amount of explosives because it kind of just becomes an all-out explosives war, which is kind of not really the point of a first-person shooter now. Perks, I think they need to stay balanced. We need to keep them, every perk should kind of have a counter. I've drawn up a rough draft of what I think the perks should be. You don't have to go by this, you don't have to accept what I say. This is how I feel would be a good starter to go by in terms of the perks, and I'll get onto those in a little bit. And all of them need to be worth using. You need to be able to use another perk over another. The problem with something like Black Ops was, what was the point in using any other perk in the first tier slot when you had Ghost, which was such an effective perk, and it pretty much made you invisible, almost. There's no real point. Again, in the second slot, Sleight of Hand was a very dominant perk. It was not really worth using many of the other ones. I'm not saying this isn't true that you could use the other ones, I'm just saying it was very much dominated by these perks. The maps, I think they need to stay exciting. With COD 4, you had it down great. All of the maps were exciting, fast-paced. You limited the amount of places that people could hide and kind of withdraw themselves from the action. That's not what we want to see. Even in Modern Warfare 2, a lot of the maps were great, but not this one. Derail, this is a bad map. I don't know who got the idea of making this map, but it's not a good map at all. That's my personal opinion, and I know from speaking from a lot of people that they agree it's not a great map. And if you're gonna do a beta, you need to include everybody who has a clue about the game. I mean, you can't just bring in an average Joe who doesn't understand the game or has barely played it. I read in an interview that you want to hear what from the machinima directors, and as a machinima director, and speaking on behalf of all machinima directors, we know what a good COD game is. We know what a good game is. We have spent more hours than probably everyone in your development team put together. I know people who have spent 100+ hours game time on COD 4, and I know people who have spent 100+ hours on Modern Warfare 2. That's how you know that you're onto something good, and they know what it takes to be a good game. I think, personally, you need to include these people into your beta testing, because without them, there wouldn't be as many people, I don't think, in this franchise as you might think, because I don't want to brag for us directors, but we have played a huge role in this game's life, and I think you very much need to listen to what we have to say and let some of the really good players, the pros, the people who are experienced and are willing to give up their time of the day to play this game. And that's what I think you need to do in terms of beta testing. So I'm not saying you have to give me one. I would love to see some of the big YouTubers who know what they're doing and play games for years and years to get into this beta and help you to develop one of the best games in history. On to the perks. This is my opinion. In this tier 1 slot, I think is more of an equipment slot. I think you should have the standard perks. Scavenger, pick up ammo off dead bodies, you know, and the pro, if you want to go with pro versions, that's up to you. It does keep it exciting. Full ammo resupply, I think, like from starting when you respawn, you know. I don't think you should be able to resupply your claymores or grenades. It made it incredibly stupid. There was no reason to really leave a room on Modern Warfare 2 if you just had Scavenger. People would walk in with their claymore, with a claymore up, die, and you resupply your claymore and put it back down. I've seen many gameplays where that's happened, and it is very, very frustrating and boring for players. Bomb Squad, I think, you know, ability to see enemy claymores in C4, and I think if you were making a pro version, you want to put a booby trap, like people's equipment or care packages. If you do decide to bring them in, I have a feeling you will do. Bling to attachments, and a pro version like Warlord in Black Ops, you know, an extra grenade and an extra stun grenade, but we don't want them to be resupplied. Flak Jacket, resistance to explosives, and then the pro version of resistance to kill streaks. I think Flak Jacket can play a very good role in this game. It's not until you put Flak Jacket on that you realize how much of a influence it makes on the game, and I think the resistance to kill streaks is a very good combat for one of the perks I'm about to list. In the second tier slot, I think Scavenger's good. We don't want to go OP with the amount of resupplying you do, and Bomb Squad's great. Didn't quite enjoy it in the third perk slot because it meant in Search and Destroy you couldn't really get around many of the like, what was it? What am I trying to think of? You couldn't really get around a lot of the claymores and equipment. The perk 2 slot is kind of like your main slot. I haven't really thought of what this is, but I've kind of grouped them all together. I think you need to bring back Stopping Power and Juggernaut. They're two perks, hands down, that will compete for the slot against a perk like Cold-Blooded. It's like if you put Stopping Power and Black Ops instead of Ghost, everyone's going to use that. If you put Juggernaut in there, they're all going to use that. And if you put Danger Close in there, they're all going to use that. So they're 4 perks that I think that are majorly important in the role of competing against each other in terms of your gameplay. It will help to keep the game balanced, and that's just my opinion. Stopping Power, you know, increased damage, and the Pro version, I think what would be an interesting way to do it, maybe you could go with the increased damage to vehicles. I don't know, that's up to what you do. But I think an interesting way to upgrade the Pro is to slow down people. What Stopping Power basically does is trying to slow the movement of people, and I think that would be very interesting to see. Like in if you play Gears of War, you know what Stopping Power is. Basically, if you keep shooting at them, they progressively slow down their movement. It'll definitely stop a lot of panic knifing, and it will make the perk maybe a little bit too overpowered. I don't know. I haven't said 100% sure if I'm okay with that, but I think it's an interesting concept to look at, and definitely one that should be considered. Perfect counter to that is Juggernaut, increased health, and I think the only way to make such a good perk balanced is if you gave it a Pro version, put like, if you're shooting at someone with Stopping Power, like with the Juggernaut symbol, you say they're using Stopping Power, and the Stopping Power symbol comes up. If you do want to give them a little bit more to work with, you could increase their speed once they're being shot at. You know, just give them a little bit of more zip, not too much, but just a little bit to get around that corner and out of harm's way. Because that's what it is, to survive extra bullets. And I feel like if you got a little bit extra juice in your run, when you're trying to get away from being shot, it would be quite helpful, and I don't know, just be nice to have. It would be a good perk. Cold-Blooded, hidden from UAV, and not the Pro version, obviously not detectable to enemy kill streaks. I think those 3 perks together will be a very interesting combination. It worked well on COD 4, having those 3 in the same slot, and it was a case of, do I want Stopping Power to kill faster? Is this gun strong enough to not need Stopping Power, so I can switch it out for a different kill streak like Juggernaut? Or have I got teammates who are not that great, who want so I could use Cold-Blooded, maybe get around all the UAVs being called in, and stay out of harm's way from kill streaks that I haven't potentially given away. Danger Close, you know, I think you should bring it back in, because it is another perk that is very contestable for the perk 2 slot, especially if you are handy with your explosives. But again, I don't want a huge emphasis on the amount of explosives. You know, higher explosive damage and then a Pro, stronger kill streaks. That's where Flak Jacket would come in if you got a resistance to kill streaks. You know, obviously not like you're immune to them, but you know, get a little bit more health, or it kills you a little bit quicker. You know, like the kind of Stopping Power Juggernaut relationship. Onto the 3 perks in the 3rd tier. This is what I like to call the body perk. It will affect your body basically, and I think the way to keep this kind of thing always interactable is some perks you want for certain game types, some perks you want for another one, and it will very much depict what kind of player you are. Marathon, increased sprinting distance. I don't think you should do an unlimited sprint. I think that's a little bit too much to give out to people. It should be like extreme conditioning. You just get there a lot quicker and you can run a lot farther. And then the Pro version, I like the mounting objects faster, so that's why I think the Pro perk should be. And I thought that was a good decision on your part for Modern Warfare 2, and I'm surprised it didn't come back into Black Ops, and I hope to see it in Modern Warfare 3. Ninja, you know, quiet footsteps, not silent. We don't want Modern Warfare 2 footsteps where it was literally impossible to hear other people. We want it quiet enough that you can get around the map without being heard too much, but at the same time we want to be able to hear if we do get in that situation where it's dead silent, and we can potentially know where people are coming from. Steady aim, you know, tighter crosshairs. I think this is one of the base perks that has been around for so long that it's got to come back in, and it is quite a good body perk. You know, tighter crosshairs when hip firing, and I think the Pro version should definitely be less flinching. I mean, it's kind of a, do you want to be able to shoot from longer ranges and be good at close range with your steady aim. You're more of a passive player. Is that the way you want to play? I think that would be a good perk for those that aren't too aggressive in their natural style. And I think overall that's a good third perk, and I can see myself using that over something like Marathon or Ninja if I wasn't trying to get around the map and be quiet, or if I wasn't trying to get somewhere really quick. And then I think the last kind of perk-free perk would be Sleight of Hand. Again, another perk that's been in so many that you kind of got to bring it back, and it's coming back with good intentions. It's not being brought back just because who cares, it's for the sake of it. I think faster reloads are a good idea. Not too fast. Some of them need to be. I think maybe you should reduce the amount that it's reloaded, because sometimes it's a little bit ridiculous. But hey, that's not for me to judge. It's up to the game developers. That's just how I feel. And I think the faster ADS is definitely a good idea. You could maybe switch it up with the ability to switch weapons faster, which could be a good perk to have on Sleight of Hand. I know I've requested it a couple times. I know it is on Scout Pro, but it needs to be on a perk that's more worthwhile having it on. And I think Sleight of Hand could be a good addition. If there is this rumored 3 tiers of pro perk, which personally I don't think you should go for, but if you did, you should consider that to be as one of the options for Sleight of Hand if you did decide to bring it back. That's pretty much all the perks I've decided. If any of you agree with what I want to say, or if you could help me out and send this video to FourZeroTwo. If you do have Twitter, get on your Twitter and link this video and say, Robert, I think you should watch this video. Leave him the link. His Twitter is @FourZeroTwo. No numbers, just words. And I will put that in the description for you to go and tweet out to him. I appreciate it greatly if you would show it to him. This is just how I feel, and I know there are a lot of other directors out there who are concerned for this game and really want this game to thrive and be the best Call of Duty there is. I'd love to be able to play this game and still be playing it in a good few years' time. And I do appreciate all you have to do, Robert. I think you do a good job. Sometimes I think you should listen to your community a little bit better. We're all good people here. We all love your franchise and the game that you are involved in, and everyone at Infinity Ward. I think you should definitely listen to what we as a community have to say, especially this section of it, because although there are other gamers out there who are quite serious about your game, I don't think you're going to find a better set of people who play your game as much or are as interested in your game as this one right here. That's all I'm going to have to say for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have anything you want to share with me, leave it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you later. Peace out.